Are books expensive in the Philippines?
No, they're not. They're quite cheap. In fact, they said, if Filipinos do not read, how come book fairs are so successful and they are held in malls? And between buying a book in the US and buying it in the Philippines, it's quite a bargain. But you see, if you're not earning well, you'd rather buy food or clothes for your children than a book. But they're not really expensive. But if you think of the average earner, it would still be a luxury. But they're very available. What are selling well are bargain books in second-hand books from developed countries like the United States in outlets called book sale, where they're very, very cheap, and you can see people buying lots of these books.
For adults in the Philippines, do they continue reading as well?
Perhaps, as the other scholars mentioned, because of their jobs, they have less time to read. But you can see them avidly reading the newspapers. They're very good about following current events. And then the youth, they're into blogging, they're aware of things online. So we don't distinguish anymore. We feel that as long as they're reading, whether it's in electronic form or printed form, it doesn't matter.
What about the type of materials that we read? Are they important as well to distinguish between quality reading or some say junk reading?
No, we don't make this distinction. We just want to flood the population with books to read, with all kinds of materials, because we don't want to impose and say that's not good enough. We feel that if it develops the reading skills, fine, go ahead, because they will develop the reading taste in the process.
How can we encourage adults to read more?
There are many activities now that we're doing, like if there's an important book, Philippine title that's been released, we do a book launching, we do book readings, and then we have group discussions also, book clubs. But you see, it's not a sustained activity like every month you have it. They wait for a book that will really cater to popular taste or appeal, and then they have the author go there and discuss the book. But that has not taken off so well yet, so that many people go there, no? It has a very select audience. But what's becoming popular in the Philippines are the read-along sessions, storytelling sessions for children. Very, very popular now, where they read Philippine children's stories. First, they invite a celebrity storyteller. Now, because you have a celebrity, you have hordes of children coming. It could be somebody in the news, it could be a popular singer, an athlete, and it draws a crowd. The largest newspaper in the Philippines, the Philippine Daily Inquirer, initiated this. They called it a reading session. But when you say reading session, it's so boring. But if you say read along and with those features, it's very interesting. First, we begin with the celebrity storyteller. And this is held twice a month, no? Many school children come, so celebrity storyteller, and then we have a storyteller maybe from the newspaper office that reads something, and then sometimes we have a child storyteller.
How crucial is reading to the growth and development of a country?
Oh, I think it's a very, very key factor, because it's a particular gift, a particular legacy that's so intangible, that's so priceless. And it really is the key to the national development. long ago, the Philippines was recognized in ASEAN region as one of the most literate, most educated. But with all our problems in the past of, no democracy, corruption, we've been left behind. So now we are so conscious that if we do not promote reading as a habit, we will forever be a basket case, which we don't want to happen.
Does the internet as well as of the smartphones or gadgets like iPads actually distract or attract people to read more?
No, I think that it could be a venue to attract reluctant readers. But the internet per se, reading blogs, is not really the best of literature, because when you have blog entries, they're written in a rush, in a hurry. Unlike a book, which can be online, it's gone through several revisions, more thought and care. So while blogs are important for those who aspire to be writers, I would not recommend it for reading for the students. It's not sufficient. I read some blog entries and they're there with fractured English, and they're writing the way they're speaking, which isn't what the printed word is all about.
Does the Filipino government right now have any specific policies or campaigns to promote the habit of reading?
Yes. The DepEd, the Department of Education, has this program, and President Noynoy Aquino, in his basic reform agenda, says every child must be a reader by grade 1. A few years ago, it was every child a reader by grade 3, and we felt that's much too late. So now with the addition, mandatory kindergarten, now the policy is every child a reader by grade 1. So as much as possible, 0 non-readers by first grade. Why? Because when they advance to other grades and they're non-readers, they drop out. Not only because of poverty, but inability to keep up with the academic standards.
For working adults, some might not have enough time to read, or some might not think that reading is important for their life anymore. They already have a job, they are trying to make a living. What would you tell them?
Well, I would remind them that reading and writing are key skills that will lead to your success. If they want, they may have a job, but how can they advance in their careers? Reading and writing and speaking are such basic skills. Whatever career they choose, if they want to advance, they have to be proficient in this. And how can you be proficient in this? By reading, by listening to good models of correct speech on television or whatever documentaries. But they have to examine the individuals they admire who have succeeded. What makes them successful? They're good thinkers. You develop critical thinking through reading. They're good speakers. They're very persuasive. They have a wide vocabulary. How do you get all that? You don't get all that just by what? By heredity. No, it's your environment. It has to be nurtured.
Some people think reading novel is just a waste of time. Reading newspapers or catching up on current events, that's sufficient enough. Do you agree with them?
No, because if you stuck to reading newspapers, you are reading something at the level of the elementary school child. Because the newspaper articles are written for elementary school level or early high school. You can see the sentence structure, it cannot be complicated. So more advanced books, whether fiction or non-fiction, would would expose you to the right nuances of language, to the graceful expression, to a rich vocabulary, and to train you to be a better critical thinker.
Light reading is the key. If you haven't picked up any books for a while, then just start by reading on any subject that you enjoy. And from there, you will definitely cultivate a habit of reading. See you next week. สวัสดีค่ะ